Have you ever opened your fridge, pulled out yesterday's leftovers, popped them into the microwave, and thought, if it's hot, it's safe? You're not alone. More than 2 billion people reheat leftovers every single day. And almost everyone believes that if food is steaming hot again, it's completely safe. But here's the surprising part. That's not always true. The biggest problem often isn't the microwave. It's what happened to the food before it was reheated. How long it sat out, how it was stored, and how many times it was reheated can all make a real difference. Now don't worry, this isn't a video about throwing away leftovers or living in fear. It's about understanding a few simple science-backed habits that can make your meals safer and healthier. I'm Dr. Imtiyaz, registered with the Medical Council of Ireland. On this channel, I turn peer-reviewed medical research into practical advice you can actually use without fear, myths, or gimmicks. Today, we're looking at 4 everyday foods that millions of people reheat the wrong way, and the simple changes that can make all the difference. Let's begin with the one food almost every home has in the fridge. Food number 1. Rice. Rice feeds more than half of the world's population. Whether it's steamed rice, fried rice, biryani, pulao, or meal prep containers for the week, millions of people reheat rice every single day without giving it a second thought. But surprisingly, the danger doesn't usually begin in the microwave. It begins much earlier. Raw rice naturally contains spores from a bacterium called Bacillus cereus. Don't let the scientific name intimidate you. These spores are incredibly tough. Unlike most bacteria, they can survive normal cooking temperatures. So even after your rice has finished cooking, the spores may still be present. Now imagine this. Dinner is over. Instead of refrigerating the leftover rice, it stays on the kitchen counter for 3, 4, or even 5 hours. During that time, those dormant spores wake up, they begin multiplying, and eventually they start producing toxins. Here's the important part. When you reheat that rice the next day, the bacteria themselves may die. But the toxins they produced often survive because they're heat stable. That means your rice can be piping hot and still contain toxins capable of causing food poisoning. Symptoms usually appear within a few hours and may include nausea, vomiting, stomach cramps, and diarrhea. Another concern is repeated heating. Every time starchy foods like rice are exposed to very high temperatures, they may produce slightly higher amounts of a compound called acrylamide, especially if the rice becomes dry or browned. Scientists continue studying acrylamide because long-term exposure at high levels has raised health concerns in laboratory studies. Does this mean reheated rice is dangerous? No, it means poorly stored rice can become dangerous. The solution is actually very simple. Cool rice quickly after cooking. Refrigerate it within about 1 hour if possible. Store it in shallow containers so it cools faster. Eat it within about 24 hours for the best quality. And perhaps the most important rule of all, only reheat the amount you're going to eat. Don't keep reheating the same container over and over again. One reheating is enough. Simple habits like these make a huge difference. But if rice surprised you, the next food might surprise you even more. Because millions of people intentionally cook large batches of it every Sunday, divide it into meal prep boxes, and reheat it every day, believing they're making the healthiest choice possible. And that food is chicken. Food number 2, chicken. Chicken has earned its reputation as one of the healthiest sources of lean protein. It's high in protein, relatively low in fat, and a favorite among athletes, bodybuilders, and anyone trying to eat healthier. But what happens after yesterday's grilled chicken goes back into the microwave? The answer lies inside its proteins. When chicken cooks for the first time, its proteins naturally change shape. That's completely normal and part of what makes it safe to eat. However, exposing those proteins to repeated high heat, especially grilling, frying, or overheating until the meat becomes dry and dark, can increase the formation of compounds known as heterocyclic amines, or HCAs. Scientists have studied HCAs for decades because laboratory research shows that after they're metabolized by the body, some can interact with DNA. That doesn't mean reheated chicken causes cancer. Human studies don't support such a simple conclusion. Instead, researchers believe that people who regularly consume heavily browned or repeatedly high-heat cooked meats over many years may have a modestly higher risk of certain cancers, particularly colorectal cancer. The key word is regularly. One reheated chicken breast isn't the problem. It's the long-term pattern that matters. Healthier approach. If your leftover chicken tastes good cold, enjoy it in a sandwich, wrap, or salad. If you prefer it warm, heat it gently until it's just hot enough to eat. Avoid cooking it all over again. Sometimes less heat is actually the smarter choice. Food number 3, spinach and other leafy greens. Now we come to the food that surprises almost everyone. If someone asked you to name one of the healthiest vegetables on earth, spinach would probably be one of your first answers. And you'd be absolutely right. Spinach is packed with vitamins A, C, and K. It's rich in folate, iron, magnesium, and powerful antioxidants that help protect your cells from damage. So why would such a healthy food appear on a list like this? The answer isn't that spinach is unhealthy. The answer lies in what can happen after it's cooked, stored, and then reheated. Spinach, along with vegetables such as celery, beetroot, and Swiss chard, naturally contains compounds called nitrates. Despite what many people believe, naturally occurring nitrates in vegetables are not harmful. In fact, your body can convert them into nitric oxide, a molecule that helps relax blood vessels, improve circulation, and support healthy blood pressure. That's one of the reasons nutrition experts encourage people to eat more leafy greens. When the vegetables are reheated under certain conditions, nitrites can react with amino acids to form compounds called nitrosamines. Scientists have studied nitrosamines for decades because several of them are known or suspected carcinogens under specific conditions and levels of exposure. Now, it's important to keep this in perspective. This doesn't mean reheating spinach once is dangerous, and it certainly doesn't mean you should stop eating spinach. In fact, the health benefits of leafy greens far outweigh this potential concern for most people. If you have leftovers, refrigerate them promptly and enjoy them cold in a salad, sandwich, or wrap instead of heating them again. Sometimes the healthiest foods simply don't need another trip through the microwave. Now we've reached the final food. And this is the one that catches even health-conscious people off guard. Food number 4, eggs. Eggs are often called one of nature's most complete foods. They're packed with high-quality protein containing all 9 essential amino acids. They're an excellent source of choline, an important nutrient for brain function. They also provide vitamin B12, selenium, lutein, and zeaxanthin, nutrients that support your nervous system, immune system, and even eye health. For many people, eggs are a daily breakfast staple. So why are they on this list? The answer involves something called cholesterol oxidation. When eggs are cooked for the first time, a small amount of the cholesterol they contain naturally becomes oxidized. That's completely normal and happens during cooking. But after cooked eggs are refrigerated and then heated again, more oxidation can occur, producing compounds known as oxysterols. Researchers have investigated oxysterols because laboratory and animal studies suggest that some may contribute to inflammation, oxidative stress, and changes inside blood vessels. However, there's something very important to remember. Most of this evidence comes from laboratory research and animal studies. Large human studies have not shown that occasionally reheating eggs creates a significant health risk. So if you've ever reheated scrambled eggs, there's no reason to panic. Just like the other foods on this list, it's the repeated habit over many years, not one single meal that deserves attention. The easiest solution is also the simplest. Whenever possible, enjoy eggs freshly cooked. If you've boiled eggs, store them in their shells and eat them chilled. And if you need to reheat an egg dish, use gentle heat just until it's warm. Avoid blasting it in the microwave until it's dry, rubbery, or extremely hot. Sometimes preserving the texture also helps preserve the quality. After hearing all of this, you might be wondering, should I stop eating leftovers altogether? Absolutely not. Leftovers are one of the smartest ways to save money, reduce food waste, and make healthy eating easier during a busy week. The purpose of this video isn't to make you afraid of your refrigerator. It's to help you use it more wisely. If you noticed a pattern throughout these 4 foods, it's this. The biggest problem usually isn't reheating itself. It's leaving food at room temperature for too long before refrigeration. It's storing food improperly. It's reheating the same meal again and again. And it's exposing food to far more heat than necessary. Those small habits have a much greater impact than most people realize. So here's a quick recap. With rice, cool it quickly, refrigerate it promptly, and only reheat what you're going to eat. With chicken, avoid cooking it twice. Gentle reheating is usually enough. With leafy greens, enjoy them fresh whenever possible. And if you have leftovers, consider eating them cold instead of reheating them. And with eggs, fresh is best. If you do reheat them, use low, gentle heat. Remember, good health isn't built by one perfect meal. It's built by hundreds of small choices, repeated over weeks, months, and years. Stay healthy, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.